Hey, this is Wages of Cine, 31 Days of Horror. I'm Stephen Gillum, and today I'm going to be talking about Return of the Living Dead 3. This was directed by Brian Yunza, and it's a departure from the other two. This one is not a comedy, or it doesn't have comedy elements like the other two. This one's a lot more serious and has a little bit more drama. But I kind of dug that about it. I liked where they went with this. The funny thing is, it's not even, if you were to take, there's trioxin, of course, in this. This is trioxin is what turns the people into the zombies. But if you were to take that out, this could be just a standalone zombie film on its own. I like it, and it's probably my second favorite one after the first one. But what happens is, this movie starts off, you have Colonel John Reynolds, who's got this military operation. They're doing these experiments with the corpses, and they're bringing them back with trioxin. They're trying to make kind of like a soldier, some way to control these zombies and get them out in the field so you're not, using real people. And in order to, get them kind of packed back up, they're using these freeze darts. They'd shoot them in the head and they'd freeze them, like pack them back up, take them to the next place, set them out on the people, freeze them again, bring them back. And he has a rival that he works with, this Colonel Sinclair, played by Sarah Douglas. She wants to do a different thing. She wants to build these mech suits to control the zombies. So you send them out there and you got these suits, and they're able to pull them, kind of paralyze them, load them back up. Then they can unleash them on the next batch of people they're fighting. So they're kind of going back and forth. Right now, Colonel John Reynolds, he's the one who's in charge, and his mission is the one that's being funded. He goes home later on. We meet his son Kurt and Kurt's girlfriend Julia. And Julia's kind of fascinated with what's going on with this military operation. So she talks, Kurt's like, let's go out there. We got your dad's military card. Let's get out there and see what's going on. So they sneak out to this military base to check things out. As they're snooping around, they see one of the experiments going on. And they see one of the zombies, and they see that it's this dead guy, and they bring him back. And he's attacking people. He ends up killing somebody. And they get out there like, oh my goodness, that's crazy. So they're riding, take off on Kurt's motorcycle, and they're riding down the street, and they get in an accident. Julia flies off, smacks her head into a telephone pole, breaks her neck. Kurt's like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this. But he remembers what he just saw. There's a secret gas that will bring her back to life. So he goes back there, opens up a canister, gets the gas. She pops up, she's alive. And then also one of the zombies comes out of the canister, chases him out. They're like, oh my goodness. And she's like, is that what I'm going to become, one of those things? Like, we don't know, we'll figure this out. So they get out of there. And as they're riding along, she's complaining, she's like, I'm hungry. There's something wrong with this. There's something wrong with me. I feel hungry. She's like, all right, we'll stop. We'll get you something to eat. So they stop at this gas station, and she just starts tearing into some junk food, eating Twinkies and everything, just all this terrible stuff. And she has an insatiable appetite. Nothing is doing it. So she finally sees somebody, I forget how it happened, someone gets hurt. She sees some blood, and she goes for it. She goes and takes a bite out of this guy's hand, and she's like, that does it. So in this whole ordeal, Julia has attacked one of these gang members, and the store owner has been shot in the process. And everyone's just like, we're getting out of here. The gang members get out, the store owner, like Kurt and Julia get the store owner, they're gonna take him to the hospital, and they load up in this van. And Julia's in the back with the store owner, and Kurt's driving. And she just gets she starts smelling the blood, and she just starts getting crazy, and she just goes right into it, starts eating them. And Kurt's like, what are you doing? You crazy, you can't do that. In the other Return of the Living Dead, they never really had it where you get bit, you get turned. This has introduced that. Now, if you bite somebody, they also will turn into a zombie. So this store owner, he comes back, turns into a zombie. They have to deal with him. And then at that point, Kurt's father has realized what's going on. He starts chasing him down, hunting him down. And the army's like, look, you better get this under control. Your son has got a zombie run out here. People are getting infected. It's like, you better get this under control. We're gonna give this mission to Colonel Sinclair, his rival. He's like, I got this, we'll take care of this. So Kurt and Julia are on the run. They end up getting down to the sewers. They meet a guy named River Rat. He's crazy, but he's kind of helping them out. He's letting them stay at his place. Same time, the gang is still chasing them down. And they figure out where they're at, and they get down to the sewers. Julia has discovered the only thing that can stop her from wanting to eat human flesh or brains or whatever it is pain. So she's finding nails and glass and shoving it into her skin, and just, you're like, oh my goodness, that's crazy, but it's the only thing that's helping her. And the next time you see her, she just comes out just fully decked out, nails in her hand. Looks pretty cool, but pretty messed up, but it's pretty cool. And Kurt's like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? That's terrible. So she goes after the gang members, ends up taking them all on, and then the army shows up, gets it all under control, gets everybody back at the lab. So Kurt is pretty devastated by this whole thing. Sees Julia, she's all like chained up, and she's still like, kind of looks like she might recognize her a little bit, but you can tell she's starting to slip and become like a full-on zombie. So Kurt, he can't take this, that she's gonna be turned into one of these things. So he takes Julia and he puts her in the furnace, the incinerator, and he climbs in there with her, and they both burn to death because he just can't stand the thought of being without her. And that's where the movie ends. Everybody is dead, and it's not a happy ending, but overall it's a pretty cool movie. This is one of those movies that walk around the video store and you see the box cover, and she just looks really cool. She's standing there, all the stuff kind of sticking out of her. I was like, man, I gotta watch that. And it's a fun movie, and I'm hoping it's not on Blu-ray in America yet. Hoping one day they get a Blu-ray, but the DVD is pretty cool. They have some pretty cool commentary on there, so I do recommend checking it out. So that's gonna wrap things up for me. I'm gonna get out of here before this guy decides he wants to eat my brains. We'll see you next time.